Welcome to Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery, where transformation meets action. I'm Eugene Holden. I'm one of your guides on this journey of personal growth, mindset shifts, and deep self-awareness. Each episode, we dive into the tools, wisdom, and strategies you need to break through limitations and step into your highest potential. No fluff, no shortcuts here, just real conversations, practical insights, and a community dedicated to mastery in every area of life. So, if you're ready to unlock your power, elevate your mindset, and create a life by design, then let's get started. Welcome to Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery. Welcome to the deep end.
True that. Okay,
Right?
let's go.
Anyway, yes.
Let's
Oh my
go.
goodness. Yeah, we are going. We're running right now, in fact. Yeah,
Okay.
but it is, so to catch everyone else up, Reverend Melissa and I are speaking about the power of yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just so happen to have on my yes shirt today. Connect to
Exactly.
your
Right?
yes.
Connect to your yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we are always provided with whatever it is that we need. Oh, one of the things that I was writing about today, as we were speaking about, and am I willing to accept what I've said yes to?
Mm, mm.
That's the other thing, right? For me is yes, I can say yes to increase my territory.
Yes.
I
Yes.
can say that and even feel that, but there might be a part of me that's going, well, are you really willing to accept what you're saying yes to? Are you really willing to accept that yes? Or
Yes.
as your shirt says, connect,
Yeah.
connect to your yes.
Yes.
And this
I,
morning,
mhm.
I'm saying, yes, I'm willing to.
Yes, I'm willing to also. And I was thinking about because I've been talking about this all week on on my show about this week. I call this week Joy Week because I'm celebrating 5 years of Morning Sit with Rev Melissa.
Wow.
And you were a part of this when I said yes to a job.
Mm.
Remember that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And saying yes to that job, this was like in 2021, saying yes to that job lasted for about 3 weeks, and then I resigned and said no.
Right? Yeah.
So, many times we have the opportunity to say yes, and then we get the opportunity to say yes again.
Mm. Mm.
And I got the opportunity to say yes again because I said no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because no can be just as powerful.
it is.
Well, not can be just as powerful. It is. Yeah, you're
It
right.
is. It is just as powerful. And, I was thinking about what what was it that had me say no to my yes and yes to what I knew really wasn't for me. And it
Mm.
was a couple of things, right? And we could probably all narrow it down to fear, but it was also money.
Right.
It was money. This job was the most money at the time
Mm.
that I was receiving from an employer.
Hmm.
And I got a lot of encouragement from folks to stick it out because of the money. And I knew, Eugene, because we would pray about it, because at the
Right.
time you were my practitioner, and
Right.
we would pray about this. And at some point, I was clear. This is not my yes.
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, is getting in the way of my yes. Now, why would I even block my own yes? What in the world?
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. Because
Mm-mm.
the money, consciously or whatever, um, on that surface level, okay, yeah, I'm doing this. Yeah, but no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, but no. And it for me it was this still, in the the nooks and crannies of my subconscious mind, let's say, a belief that this job was my source.
Right.
And I had been affirming that God is my source.
Right.
So what is it that I really believe?
Right.
I had to have that conversation with myself. What is it that I truly believe? Do you believe that God is your source, Melissa? Or do you
Mm.
believe that this job is your source? And it became clear.
Yeah. Yeah. And the ego is such a brilliant part of us, right? Because it could make up the story that, well, God is your source through this job,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And you go,
Nope.
nah, because this is not what I'm supposed to be doing.
No.
And
And the
I,
funny thing, is that 2021 year, one of my practices is, I select a quality that I
mm,
want to, that I make a commitment to embodying, expressing, and experiencing more fully in that year. And that year, one of my qualities was freedom,
I remember.
abundance, joy, and focus. Those were my
Mm,
qualities for 2021. And then I titled the year, I give it like a theme. And that year it was my year of winning.
mm,
And I had a whole list. I created a whole list of things that um are in alignment with my year of winning. And the very first thing that I had on that list was I work with joy.
mm,
And from day one of walking into that job, the vibration of joy was not anywhere to be found.
mm.
So that was an indication right there for me to pay attention. And it's like how I'm sure many people have had this experience, right? Of affirming specifically that which you desire and then accepting something that is not that. Anyone? Or is it just me?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I,
It's
I I want to go back to a question. I love the question that you asked. Right, it is, what makes me say no to my yes?
mhm.
It's like, wow. I had to. I was listening to you and I was hearing you, and I'm like, oh, that's a powerful question. I mean,
Yeah.
because how many of us, we affirm what it is that we want to experience, and then we take a job that it's going to pay us some good money, but it's not it. Right? So why do I say no to my yes? And am I clear on what that yes is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that was the thing. I wrote a whole list of what that yes is. So I was clear.
Mm,
I
mm.
was clear.
and,
And
and
yet,
well, maybe that's why you had to take the job, is to really get clear on the fact that that was not your yes.
I believe that to be true as well.
Yeah.
And I feel it was also a example that I can lean towards when I find myself in a similar situation of
Hmm.
making a choice
Yeah.
and really. taking like inventory. This is the criteria. Does it meet that criteria? Is it on the same vibration or not?
Yeah. Yeah.
And to trust that.
Mm.
Why did I say no to my yes? There was something that I wasn't trusting.
Yeah. 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 Trusting or not trusting, spirit, not trusting yourself, not trusting whatever the not trusting was, right?
Mhm.
And,
Mhm.
and and then you got to that point where you go, you know what? 3 weeks later, no, I'm not doing this because you stepped in, trusting that all is well. Yeah.
Trusting that all is well, and I could see it was like having a premonition
Mm,
of myself if I remain in that situation, because I could already see remnants of it,
mm,
the stress, the the working ridiculous hours, the not being present for my girls the way that I desired to be. I could see it. I could foresee all of it,
mm.
as like having a vision.
Right?
And I said, no,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no. I have to say yes to my yes.
And there's such a power in yes. There's such power in yes. And I had to learn how to not say yes, because I would say yes to whatever. Hey, Eugene, you want to do that? Yes. Hey, you want to go? Yes. And I had to learn that it's okay to say no, because a part of my saying yes all the time was wanting to make sure that I didn't rock the boat, wanting to make sure
Mhm.
that folks were pleased. And it's like, well, no, no, you don't need to do that. Because that's
Right.
just stupid with two O's. Yeah, I'll do that. Well, no, you can't do that. You don't have time. You have other things that we're here to do. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. So let
yeah.
me ask you this, Eugene. So
Uh-oh.
in the Eugene Holden's Academy of Self Mastery, what what would the yes curriculum contain?
So it's I've had this purpose statement since I created uh 2003, 2004.
Mhm.
And the purpose statement goes like this: it is my purpose to be a light and a way shower. Joyfully I assist others in remembering who and what they are, divine beings of light, and together we reveal heaven on earth.
Mm,
Heaven is ever expanding good,
mm.
right? And and I wrote it, I memorized it, and would say it every day. I still say it every day.
Mhm.
And a very good friend of mine a couple of years ago had me repeat it in front. We were doing this men's retreat, and he had me. He asked me, "So, what is your purpose?" Because he's heard it before.
Mhm.
And then he said, "Eugene, you realize that that's what you do.
Mm.
You inspire, you joyfully assist others in remembering who and what they are, divine beings of light." So the curriculum on the Eugene Holden's Academy of Self Mastery is serving that purpose,
Yes.
right? And again, self and self mastery is lowercase s, because our higher selves don't need the mastering. It's already the master, right?
Mhm.
So it's mastering that little part of me, as we talked about before we went on the air here. That little part of me that was going, oh no, that's too big. Okay, no, no, I'm saying yes to this. So the curriculum is involving identifying those parts of us that are not willing to say yes to our yes.
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 Yeah, those parts of us that are not willing to say yes to our yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And in that curriculum, there is some spiritual technology. Oh, you and I did this a year or so ago. That work on parts. The because we talk about the ego, but there are egos. There we have
Mm.
so many different parts. Remember that part that was afraid to drive in the rain at night?
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, well, that part's gone, right? But
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Right? And so there's that spiritual technology that I get to bring that I
Yeah.
haven't done with folks. And it's such a powerful, transformative, transformational tool. Yeah.
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 Transformational. When you said that part's gone, that part said, "I'm not gone. I'm a part of the whole now."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm a part of, because I remember that. Oh my
Yes.
God, that
Yes.
was such a powerful process,
Yes.
Eugene, that you guided me through.
Yeah.
And I remember
That's right.
feeling this wholeness and that fear that I had, um, about driving. And the reason why I had the fear was because we almost got into an accident because it was pouring down raining, and the car, um, what do they call it? Hydroplane.
Yes.
And we spun around on a 5-lane freeway and stopped with the cars coming towards us. And I had my sugars, my girls, and my honey, my husband, in the car. And after that, I was terrified
Right.
of driving when it was raining hard. And Eugene, you walked me through that process, and such a transformation occurred for that part of me that was kept having that experience
Right.
over and over and over again, the trauma of it. And and so I'm very conscious of that part. When you said it and that part is gone, the part said, "No,
Right.
I'm
Right.
still here, but
Right.
now I'm a part of the whole."
Because a part of the process is we have these we've identified what that part is, right? And it has the choice. Is it a part you want to get rid of or integrate with the
Yes,
one?
yes.
And so it was integrated with the one. So the fear is gone.
The fear is gone, and now that part drives in the rain when it's pouring down rain. That
Right?
part goes, "Ooh, can I drive?"
Yeah, yes, we got this. Yeah. So
Yes.
that's a part of the curriculum, you're right? Transformational meditation, which that is called, right? Because it
Mm,
is a transformative, it's powerful, transformative process.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, this is
Oh
good,
my
good stuff.
goodness.
It is, and all of this, again, that purpose statement, was created. I created that back in 2003, and it really is a statement of yes.
Mhm.
And so I encourage people to create your own statement of purpose because one of the two questions, right? Who are you? We get to ask that. We've heard that question.
Mhm.
Who are you? And what cartoon movie is that in? Oh, Alice in One Wonderland. When the
Mm.
Cheshire Cat goes, "Who are you?"
You, yes.
And then the other question, Rev, is why are you?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And then once we find that out, then we say yes to it.
yes,
And then no to everything else that is not in alignment
yes,
with that.
yes,
I love that.
yes. So who are you? Who are you, Eugene?
Hmm. Who am I? I am the divine expression of love.
Mm,
Yeah, I am love made manifest. I am God in action.
yes,
I am joy. I am spirit dancing throughout this life.
yes.
Yeah. Who am I? I'm magnificent. Dag nabbit. Because when people, and I'm going to ask you that same question real in just a moment, right? But when people are asked, well, who are you? And they will tell you what they do.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I am a teacher.
Yeah.
I am a mother. I am a boss. Whatever it is, right? Okay, that's what you do. So, Melissa, who are you? Besides my beautiful friend.
Who am I?
Who is Melissa?
The most succinct,
Mm,
and I have adopted this from the book that you shared with me, Gospel of Thomas,
mm,
and one of the
mm.
um, what do they call it? Legions,
Um, Logian.
Logians. They tell the story. The commentary is about the caterpillar and the
Yeah,
butterfly,
yeah,
and how the butterfly, how the caterpillar is the destiny of the butterfly.
yeah.
And so when I'm asked that question, who I am I now, I say, I am the destiny of God.
Yeah.
I
Hoo-wee.
am the destiny of God. That is who I am. I
Yeah.
am an expression of joy. I am the universe's echo of yes.
Oh, come on.
I am I, when I'm really feeling myself, I say, I am all of that.
And a
That is
bag of chips.
good, fabulous, and magnificent. I am,
Yeah,
and that is enough. And that is worthy, you know,
yeah, yeah. That
that
is
I
enough.
am the destiny of God.
Yeah,
That is who I
yeah,
am.
yeah. So then now my follow-up question to my beautiful dear friend Rev, why are you?
Oh, why am I?
Why are
So
you?
my purpose. I hear that as my purpose.
Exactly.
So I remember when I became a practitioner in 2013, and we had this ceremony, and we all got to share our oath as
Mm,
practitioners. And my oath was that I am spreading joy like a virus,
mm,
and the only cure is love.
mm.
That was my oath. And then
Wow.
when I became an interfaith minister, I added to that I am a vessel of joy, and I spread joy like a virus. The only cure is love,
Mm,
because I am here to be of service to
mm,
people who are committed to living life in joy, connected to their yes. I am here to support whomever that may be
right,
on that journey,
right.
their journey to yes, their journey to love.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is my purpose.
yeah, yeah.
And the funny thing, Eugene, is when I look back at over my life, I could see the thread of that. I could see the thread of that. I had the blessing over the weekend to go to a former coworker's 80th birthday. And the day of the party, I see an email from him asking me to make a toast. And I'm like, what? What? Like, okay. So when I get to the party, of course, there are other people that I used to work with are there. So it's probably maybe 10 of us. And these are folks that I worked with over 25 years ago.
Wow.
These
Wow.
are folks that I really don't have any contact with, except for when his name is Jim, except for when Jim brings us together,
Hmm.
for one of his birthday parties. He's fabulous, a lot of fun. I call him a rascal. And for to have conversations with people that I used to work with and to hear them say to me, "You were such a warm and kind HR person."
Wow.
I worked other places and HR was never like you.
Mhm.
You know, I
Right?
always enjoyed talking to you. This thread, this thread was always there of of just being wanting to be in connection with people
Yeah.
and the desire to support people and maybe seeing themselves in a lighter way. You know, it's
Yeah.
always been there.
Yeah.
I just was not always aware of it.
Right. Right. Nor did you really have a need to be then.
Right,
Right. And
right.
maybe don't need to be now because you know this is who you are and this is why you are.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And you say yes to it.
yes.
You mentioned this, so I just want to give people a chance to connect with this. So 5 years morning sip.
5 years, say, I was getting ready to call you Sekou. 5 years, Eugene. 5 years. And I'll share this really quick story. It was during COVID. We were
Hmm.
all, shut in the pandemic. And one of my dear friends, Sekou, we were talking about, well, we have all this time, like we should do something. Maybe we should learn like a new skill or, what is there something you've always wanted to do? So we're having this conversation. And I said to him, you know what I've always wanted to do, but I was always too afraid to do it? Go on Facebook Live and just share a word of inspiration.
Mm.
And he challenged me to do it. And if you want me to do anything, just dare me. Talk about parts of ourselves.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that part right there. Dare me. And so the next day, I got on Facebook, I did a live, and Eugene, it was a hot mess. I had my phone turned the wrong way, so I was sideways like this. I was so nervous, and probably spoke for less than 4 minutes.
Right.
And so when it was over, he called me because he watched, and he was like, "So, how did you feel?" And I was like, "It was amazing." It was exhilarating. And he was like, "Okay, okay." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you was like this." I was like, I know, but I'm gonna do it again." And he said, "When?" I said, "Tomorrow." And he
Wow.
said, "Tomorrow?" I said, "Yeah, yeah." So I did it the next day, and then I did it every single day for the rest of the year. So that was like April 6, 2020. So
Wow.
every single day in 2020, after that, I was on Facebook Live.
Wow.
And that evolved into Morning Sip with Red Melissa. And it got picked up by New Thought Media Network. And this is April 6, 2025, was 5 years of me saying yes
Yes. Yeah.
to my desire to spread joy and inspiration in the world because we need that.
Yeah. 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 We truly do. Um, we truly do. And before I go down that line, so how can people connect? Where do they catch you?
So you
What,
can the easiest way is on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel called I Am Rep Melissa. I am Rep Melissa, and SIP is on not every day, but it's on 6 days.
I was going to ask you about every day. Yeah.
It's on 6 days. Sunday and Monday are replays because I have so many episodes as you can imagine. And then Tuesday through Friday are live shows, and it's
Okay.
on live at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. But you could, of course, watch it anytime. And the easiest way is on YouTube, but I'm also on Facebook and on Instagram.
Okay. Great.
Thank you,
Great.
thank you for
You're
that.
welcome. Does SIP stand for anything?
Yeah, SIP stands for Spirit in Practice.
Mm,
Because I'm all about the practice,
it's all
because
about the practice.
practice makes progress.
Yes. Yes.
And
Practice
that's
makes.
been a gift for me because, we get into the society wants us to be producers.
Right.
Produce, and in this capitalistic society, and I won't even go down the role of uh I won't go there. They want, capitalist societies need producers, people who are going to do the
Right.
work
Right.
at whatever cost that it takes. And I don't like the energy of produce. What did you be that productivity thing? For me, it just doesn't resonate, but making progress does.
Mm-hmm.
So I could take baby steps and make progress. And I'm learning this for myself because I for many moons was one who felt that I had to do a lot in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that I would sacrifice would be my own self-care
Right.
and rest and all of that. So that's probably the leg of my journey right now, is to really honor myself by giving myself rest, and by looking at the things that I desire to do, not as like this big thing, but just little baby leaps that I get to take
Yeah.
to make progress.
Yeah.
And that's a practice.
Yeah. 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 And I want to twist, not twist. Well, I have a twist on the word produce, because
Okay.
we are right, because we get to produce what we're doing here,
Mhm.
right? We get to produce. Yeah. Well, yeah. And for many years and for many people, we get caught up in you got to produce, you got to produce, you got to, and if I'm not producing at a certain level, then I'm going to be judged.
Mhm.
Right. And so
Mhm.
I understand that. It's like, okay, but that's not what this is all about. Again, for me, that's one of those weapons of mass distraction. We get distracted from who we are here to be and
Yeah.
why we are here to be. And we need stuff like this these days, because life seems to be crazy. But I'm sure back in the 70s, there were things that were going on where life seemed to be crazy in the 60s
Yeah.
and the 50s. And
Yeah.
so it's nothing new, just
Yeah.
it seems faster.
Yeah.
Right. And
It does.
I've said for years that people who are on this path and are born to be here at this time are here on purpose.
Yeah.
Why are we here? To bring joy to the world, to let people know that it's okay to connect with your yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you're not connected to your yes, then ask the question, why am I saying no to my yes? I love that. I'm going to be pondering that for the next day or two.
Mm.
And then having the willingness to step into our yes, and then to step from our yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I work with people, I do spiritual life coaching with folks, and that's one of the questions that I assign to them, is to be in that question. What is my yes? And what is my no? Because it's important to know that as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And many times people find themselves living in their no.
You're right. Yeah.
You don't have to stay there. You could pack up your bags and move.
In fact, you can just move, leave the bags there, because you never know what you might be packing. Be packing some of that old stuff that you really don't need,
Yeah.
or be very clear about packing up your bags and, pick up your bed and walk.
Oh my goodness. Yes. 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 Yes.
Decide to do something different.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
decide to do something. Decide to be something more.
Yes.
Yeah. Going back to that, no is very powerful.
Yes.
What's that old saying? No is a complete sentence.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I've gotten to the point now where I don't have to explain. I don't need to explain myself. Eugene, you
Mhm.
want to do this? No. Well, why? I don't need to tell you why. How about this? I don't want to. And I'll say that as
Yeah,
nicely as I can. But
yeah,
no, you want no, thank you.
yeah. I learned that, watching my husband navigate
Mm,
and having a strong no, not hostile,
right,
not, none of those things, but
right.
just a very clear no.
Yeah,
And I was like, this blew me away. I was like, he didn't explain it. He didn't defend it. He didn't make up a story.
like this.
He didn't
No,
lie. He like, he just said no. And he might say, "Oh, no, no, thank you."
right. Yeah.
No is a complete
No
sentence.
is a complete
It is a complete,
sentence.
and it is enough.
It is enough.
Yeah.
So what I want to tell people today in terms of that, practice saying no.
Yes.
Practice saying no.
Because when you practice saying no, you are saying yes to
You're
your
saying
yes.
yes. You're saying yes to your yes.
You're saying yes to
Saying
your
yes to
yes.
your yes, man.
And
Yeah,
that's our destiny. Our destiny is our yes.
yeah. And our destiny is our why we're here.
Yes.
Who are you? Why are you? Folks, I want you to really take those two questions to heart, and really ask, and even sit down and write, who am I? And then just write. And then
Yes.
after you're done with that, then sit down and go, okay, cool. Why am I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a
Yeah.
book that I love, and I do it every year, The 30-Day Mental Diet by Willis Kinnear.
Okay.
And every day, he talks about a different law, universal law, or practice. And day one is who you are.
Mm,
It does. It makes no sense going through the whole book without being clear about who you are.
mm,
And
mm.
in the book, he just basically says we're what we often say in New Thought or Science of Mind, religious science, that we're an individualized expression of God,
Mm-hmm.
of love, of the universe. But how would you articulate that?
Yeah.
I'm asking the people out there. How would you articulate that? Because for some, saying I'm an individualized expression of God doesn't resonate.
Right.
And it's important for it to resonate,
Yes.
so that you're really encompassing and embodying it.
Yeah.
So I love that as what I call love work instead of homework. Do that
Mm-hmm.
love
Mm.
work and answer those two questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Another way that people can put it, as instead of an individualized expression of God, and be an activated aspect of the Creator,
Mm,
an aspect
nice.
of the Creator, right? Or an aspect of the universe, or whatever resonates. And I love that word, right? Because we're talking about how that feels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So work with that, and don't get, and I'm talking to everybody out there, right? And don't get snagged by what's going on. You can be aware of what's going on in the world, because you need to be aware of what's going on in the world, but don't get snagged and get
That's right.
sucked into because that takes away from your joy. It takes away from your yes,
Yes.
you know?
That part right there is so important because, like you said, if you look at history, there has always been a time, and I'll just say dot, 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 right? And so
Right.
this is our version of the time,
Right.
right? And so we get to choose what we take in, how we take it in, how often we take it in. We get to choose how we talk about it,
You're right.
how we respond to it or not.
Right.
We like all of that is within our influence.
Right.
All of that is within our control.
Yeah.
And so it's another practice of saying, no, no, I will not watch 5 hours of whatever the network is. I will
Right.
not. No, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
Did you watch the state of? No.
No, no. Why?
No.
Why? Why not? Didn't want to.
No.
I have other things, better things to put my energy to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which the world needs.
Yeah.
The world needs our yes.
Absolutely.
And we cannot allow what is happening, not being aware, our heads are not in the sand,
Right.
right? But for some, that's the excuse for not being their yes.
Right.
Allow nothing and no one to be a barrier to you living your destiny
Yeah.
and embodying your yes.
Yeah.
Nothing and no one.
Let nothing and no one keep you from, I love what you said, your destiny and from embodying your yes.
Yes.
When I hear that, put it that way, embodying my yes, then my yes is a full body yes. Everything goes yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't let anything keep you from why you're here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is a practice
Yeah.
that we get
Yeah.
to choose every day,
Yeah.
every moment of the day.
Yeah. You've heard, because we've been friends for a while now, so you've heard me say, that one of our greatest gifts is a gift of choice.
Mm-hmm.
We get to decide. I get to choose what to think.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not going to let that in. No, no, because thoughts are only there for our consideration.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Oh,
say that again.
thoughts are only there for our consideration. Because we can't
Ah,
stop the thoughts. All right, but do I want to grab onto that thought and take me over here? No, I consider it. No, no, no. And yeah, yeah. And then we get to choose how we do this thing called life.
yes.
I don't know about you, Rev, but I'm doing this thing with all of the joy-filled gusto that I can.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ride this until the wheels fall off, and then
Yes.
put on some new wheels. And let's keep going. Let's keep
Let's
going.
keep going. Let's
Yeah,
keep going. And it's a place that feels good.
yeah, yeah,
It's a place that feels good.
yeah. Hey, Rev, is there a little short exercise that you want to leave us with? That you want,
Mm.
and if not, it's all good.
Well, it's those two questions. I really and I want to invite everyone to sit down. Writing is such a powerful
Yeah, it is.
tool, spiritual tool. Handwriting, not typing it on your
Right,
computer or your devices.
right.
Using this instrument and writing, answering the question, who am I? And just being with that, your higher self will answer the question. And the second question, what am I? Or what's the second question?
Why?
Why am I? Why? And we hear that as what is your why? What is your big why?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So why? Who am I and why am I? Give that to yourself as a gift to
yeah,
get really clear. Sometimes I write and I am shocked by what shows up on the page.
yeah,
Divine guidance,
yeah,
divine guidance. So I think that's what I would leave folks with today. To give
okay.
yourself the gift of going within and writing out those two questions, answering them. Ooh, And then for extra credit, because this is an academy, for extra credit, write your purpose statement.
Mm, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'd love to hear what it is. So you can
Yeah.
comment, right?
Yes. Yes.
We'd love to hear what they are.
And I want to, in terms of the purpose statement, I want to invite people to start that off. You don't have to, but it's a good way to start it off by saying, my purpose is.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to own that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And be intentional. It's give yourself the breath and the space to really tune in to that vibration
Yeah.
of who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and Melissa, that's very important because we live in this society that everything's rush, 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 right? So give, as Melissa said, give yourself the space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 20 minutes, a half an hour, but give yourself some space
Yes.
to go within and tap into that place that not only knows, but has been waiting for you to tap into your knowing.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes. Yes. It's right there.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah. Waiting.
Where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might even hear it say, God, I'm good question. I'm glad you asked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But give yourself the space and ask those two questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then write a purpose statement for yourself.
Yeah.
Melissa?
Yes.
Another good time, but we always have a good time.
Always have a good time. Yes.
Have a good time. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery.
What you say?
You heard Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Peace and abundant blessings. Peace and abundant blessings. You can catch Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery podcast on Fridays at 12 noon Eastern Time on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and other podcast platforms.